No, your dog is fine, brother. Don't even trip. My dog coming in and out of streams, has been in and out of streams plenty of times, bro. You are perfectly fine. Don't trip. So welcome. People about to start flowing in. Damn, episode 10. It has been I got to episode 10 pretty quick, James. Before I intro you, I just gotta say this first. Shout out to all of the Players Choice members. Shout out to our GOAT members, Comatose and Hermayes. Shout out to our legends, our superstars. If you want to keep being a part of the Players Choice community, I say it on PC Anime. I say it on By Any Means. All the information you need is below. But with that being said, I am super excited because not only do I have a good friend of mine, but it's also NFL draft week. And we got ourselves a NFL draft hopeful. Definitely will be playing on Sundays. This kid has been the good since I've met him and has only bet on himself and doubled down in his career. And I can't wait to talk about his journey with you to this point. To the Players Choice community, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. James Tunstall, welcome to By Any Means, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yo, so no, my bad. I didn't cut you. You said something? I didn't mean to cut you off. Damn, I'm already being bad. I'm already being a bad host. I
was just saying what's up to everybody. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. I'm really excited to have you here. So, James, it has been, for those who don't know, you have been on your 5-year journey in this college football thing has been really as interesting as one of the more interesting ones as they come. But it's like at every stop you had to go on to get to this point where you're at right now to potentially be able to live out your childhood dreams. You excelled at every stop and you've bet on yourself along the way. And I really want you to tap into that journey and that self, the self-awareness to know that what you are capable of, as an athlete. Because sometimes what we don't have is we get so caught up in what everybody says. You said it earlier, what everybody can't do. We was talking about it before the show, what everybody can't do, and you just got to know what you can do. So take us to the start, man. We're talking about a Maryland guy, Henry E. Lakey High School out of Indian Head, Maryland. So talk to me about high school and when did you get into football?
So I started off in high school at Fairmont Heights High School. That's in Capitol Heights. I tried to. I did play for the basketball team there my ninth grade year, but I didn't really get much playing time. So that's kind of was the start of my athletic high school career. I was kind of really overlooked there. My freshman year, I was probably like 6', 6'1", so I hadn't really grown into my body fully yet. Then, like the summer of my ninth grade year, going to my 10th grade years, where we moved down to Southern Maryland, Charles County area, Indian Head to be exact. So I transferred over to Henry Lackey. I started playing football there towards the end of my 10th grade year. Going into my 11th grade year, that's when I had to compete for a spot on varsity as an 11th grader. I ended up getting that spot going into camp. Thankfully, that year it was like it's kind of like really scratching the surface of my career. That's when I kind of started growing too. Probably hit like 6'5". I was like 6'5", probably like 275 my junior year. Kind of hit like a real big growth spurt. That was the first year. Then I kind of went through a little bit of things off the field. So I had got kicked out of the weight room. My high school head coach, he loves to tell that story, but because I wasn't exactly bought in yet. I was still a little immature at the time, thinking that I'm untouchable. Wasn't really taking school seriously as I should have. So once he kicked me out of the weight room, I kind of like really became. That's when I had to nut up and and really get my act together. I ended up being a captain going into my senior year. It was at 2017. So that kind of was really the start. I didn't get my first college Division I offer until I probably would say like the end of that junior year. My first offer was Delaware State, and at the time, I didn't really know too much about college football as it is because I never had any family members or anybody from mom or dad's side of the family go and play Division I football. So that kind of was like a a whole new world for us.
Right.
To me, that was like an Alabama offer because it was to us it was like, wow, okay, I won't have to pay for college, so that's a huge opportunity right there. And at the time, I wasn't even thinking NFL or league. You know what I mean? I just wanted to have the opportunity to go to college and not have my me and my parents go into any debt or anything like that. So that alone was a blessing. So that's pretty much general summary of my high school career and how things pretty much started off.
So you said you were a captain. What would you say? Because obviously when I first met you, you were obviously a bright-eyed 18-year-old freshman. But you said you were a captain, and honestly, being here now, I would not have thought that personally, just because how playful and you're a real personable guy. You know what I'm saying? And you don't come off too stern. So how would you say your leadership style is like? Because I know a lot of guys probably resonate with somebody like you.
All right. So I mean, as far as me, I'll probably say I'm more of a leading example kind of guy. I mean, I'm not going to really jump on your back or cuss you out too bad unless I feel the need to. I don't really feel like as a leader you got to really cuss guys out to get them to perform. Sometimes I feel like you approach them on more calmer level just to to get the best results. So I feel like if I was ever a coach, that would be my coaching strategy. I wouldn't really be the bullhorn yelling at you guy, cuss you out guy unless I really had to be. So that's probably how I look at myself as a leader.
So you went you committed to University of Connecticut. It said you had offers from Toledo, Bowling Green, but you decided to go to UConn. Why the decision to pick UConn compared to maybe a Toledo or Bowling Green, maybe even staying in Delaware?
I'll probably say because UConn was probably my biggest offer coming out of high school. Once we toured the facilities, it was beautiful. Plus, I was always a basketball fan, so I'm like, all right, I can go and really make a really good career for myself football wise.
Right.
And have the luxury of watching great basketball. So Plus, it wasn't too far from home. I mean, it was only like 6 hours, which is not bad at all. You hit that in the afternoon. Then it was always an opportunity for my parents to come watch me play. Any family that lives along the East Coast can easily travel to come watch me play. And I don't really mind the cold. I know Connecticut is crazy cold, but I don't.
But that's good. I mean, I know NFL GMs will love to hear that. You know what I'm saying? You can play and you don't mind playing in the cold weather. So you transferred and you decided to go to Stony Brook. And while you were at Stony Brook, you were an FCS All-American. But obviously, there was a coaching change at UConn. Some of the things, obviously, you know how that goes. When there's a coaching change, for those in the chat who don't know, there's a big, and honestly, you're seeing it now at a grander scale because there's a transfer portal. People are getting free transfers, so guys are not sticking it out for a year to wait to themselves to graduate to do it. They're just leaving right after mid-semester. But what you're seeing right now, Colorado, obviously Colorado has been. There's a lot of other schools that probably have gone through that, but Colorado is such a big market now because of Dion that people are only highlighted 22. But I've seen that was UConn. That was UConn literally a few years ago. There's about 22 players that left all at once. So this happens. That's not an anomaly. This has happened multiple times. But you had to go down to FCS and pretty much ball your mind out. What was it like having to go down to the division? Did you feel a type of way about that? And obviously, when you made it as an FCS All-American, what was that honor like for you?
So in my mind, I kind of knew I was gonna have to go down to FCS because this was before the one-time transfer rule was even passed. So I was going to have to apply for a waiver and go through all these hoops and loops just to be able to play at the FBS level. That's why I decided to transfer instead of FCS or Stony Brook. So it was kind of like a golden option. Because I felt like I could still play at a high level because there's ballers in the FCS level, and I'll say that to this day. I mean, there's great competition on there.
Facts.
Really, the only huge difference is some parts of the trenches. You don't have those.
It's the O line and D line.
70-pound DNs and stuff like that. FCS level DNs probably like 6'3", 6'2", 6'1", 240, 250. I mean, it wasn't like real huge guys, but they're still ballers. Cam Gills, John Docker, just to name a few DNs I went against who went on had careers in the NFL. So, sorry, my dog's in the way.
No,
But
you
yeah,
good. You good.
definitely. I wasn't really mad about that decision. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, I just wanted to play. Honestly, I just wanted to have the opportunity to play and represent a school that cared about me and my career, and who actually showed me the respect I feel like I deserve. So that was really the opportunity I saw. When I decided to transfer to Stony Brook, they actually recruited me heavy out of high school too. They were one of the staff that really liked me. So it was kind of easy to just. Really, I ended up taking just another visit, just to get reiterated with the coaching staff and the campus and the guys and stuff like that. So it was kind of really an easy, simple decision.
Right.
The only other school I was probably considering at the time was Towson. That's just their hometown, home state team. So,
no, go ahead, keep going. I'm listening.
No, I mean that's pretty much. What was the second part of the question?
Oh, so when you got FC, so yeah, I was just gonna remind you, FCS All-American. That's literally all I was gonna say. So when you became an All-American, so you got FCS All-American. Was that the moment that you felt like this work is actually paying off, or was it Cincinnati? But that's what I want to know. Like, how did that moment? What did that feel like? Because All-American at any level is a big deal. All-American means something. It holds merit because that's there for life. Like, you're an All-American for the rest of your life. It's a big deal. So what was that honor like for you?
Yeah, I'll probably say that was probably one of the biggest highlights of my career. It was kind of like a stamp of I could do this. I finally have the opportunity to do this, and I finally was able to really showcase my talent, what I was able to do. So that honor was was really special for me. Especially people saying, "Oh well, if you couldn't play at UConn, then you won't be this, you won't be that," and it's like. Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own opinions, but at the end of the day, I knew what I was capable of, and I was just blessed to have the opportunity to go to a school that was willing to give me that opportunity, give me the chance. So, sorry.
That's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. What's your dog's name?
I got two. I got Thor and Rocket. I named after Marvel characters.
I love that. I love that. So. Obviously, you go from Stony Brook and you transfer to Cincinnati. But before we get to Cincinnati, I think it's important because you said a few things that I really want to point out because I feel like they were important. The first thing you talked about was the ability to have respect from the staff, the people who are pretty much investing into you as an athlete. And you felt like you just wanted to be respected as a player, really just given a fair shot to actually compete. You didn't want to be – nobody wants to be decided what they can be before they can prove what they are. And that's what you said earlier. But I think sometimes in sports, there are a lot of athletes who lose their love for the game through a coach's opinion of what they are. That happens all the time. I mean, I could even say that that kind of happened to me at some points. You kind of got to battle yourself because you're listening to somebody tell you what you can or cannot be. And if you start to, self-talk is everything. Once you start to believe it, that's what you become. How were you able to fight through the mental adversity of it? Because that's probably the hardest battle.
Absolutely. I agree with you there 100%. I mean, what a lot of people don't understand about being an athlete is there are some coaches that can ruin that whole experience for you. That can ruin the whole, the process of trying to make it to the next level, anything of that nature. But, I'm glad you pointed that out because, I've even experienced some parts of my career where, certain coaches, they kind of taint and poison your love and true passion for the game. So the way I was able to battle through that was just having, close friends, close family, people I can lean on and talk to, and they kind of keep me level-headed and keep me encouraged and motivated to keep pushing because, one thing I've learned is you're going to face adversity pretty much your whole life. So it's a matter of how you respond to it and how you fight through it and how you bounce back. And, those lessons really helped me get through those patches of life where they were heavy burdens. So, I really can't say anything, but, I'm blessed just to have those family members and close friends that I was able to lean on throughout, parts of my journey that I really needed them.
So the next stop of your journey, I think, was probably the stop that was like, this is the fruit of me keeping my head down. This when you got to Cincinnati. the decision to go to Cincinnati, were there other schools that you were thinking about going to prior to that point, or was it always going to be Cincinnati? Like, and talk to me about your relationship with Luke Fickell.
Yeah, there definitely were other schools that were interested and other schools that I was talking to. Really, would help make that decision of going to Cincinnati was the bridge I had and the friendship I had with Darian Beavers. You know, good friend of both of ours, and it was kind of because during the time it was like end of 2020, beginning of 2021, so there were still a lot of COVID rules. So I wasn't able to take a visit or go experience the campus or go meet other guys in person. So having that connection with Darian kind of really helped me out in making that decision, because of somebody I knew, somebody I trusted, a real close friend of mine. We still hang out to this day. Right. Having his word and him telling coach about me and him telling the vice versa and stuff like that kind of really just helped make that process a whole a lot smoother, because transferring through during COVID was really wasn't easy. Like I said,
because you can't really take a real visit. You can't take a real visit. Yeah,
exactly. So you're looking through websites and stuff, trying to kind of get an idea of how the campus would be like and stuff like that. So definitely made things a little more difficult. But a few schools I can name off the top of my head I was talking to was Florida State. I was interested in them. I was talking to Tennessee, schools like Missouri and stuff like that too. So it was a good amount of options, but I felt like Cincinnati would have been was the best opportunity for me.
Well, so when you went to Cincinnati, did you kind of know going into that season, because that was your first year? That was your first year there. When you went there and y'all went to the college football playoffs, that season that occurred, did it feel like y'all were going to have that type of magical run? Because when we go back in history now, we talk about like teams that were really good. That Cincinnati team is on that of like big name teams. We're great. I mean, you guys beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. I mean, you had how many guys get drafted that year? Damn near the entire defense got drafted. Sauce Gardner right now is winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. But that defense you was going against on a daily basis. So did you know you guys were special, or did it kind of like you guys started to catch your own wind throughout the season?
Honestly, I probably knew that team was special when I first got there, and I just had my first taste of the culture. I mean, those winter workouts, they are for a week, I'll tell you that. Coach Brady and his strength staff, I mean, hats off to them every time. I mean, they're great guys. They really develop you as a player in a weight room, and it's something that you really can't you can't really find much place else. They're a little bit old school, so they believe in hard work and the results are going to come. I mean, so it's that was really my first taste of knowing that this team is different, because not only were they were challenging, they really challenged you to just stay together as a team, and that's just something that you don't find too many places else. I mean, a lot of guys they get in their feelings, or they kind of shy away and run from adversity or tough challenges and stuff like that. But one thing I can say about that team, we were able to take a lick and keep on going. There's a lot of older guys on the team, so it was real mature locker room. So, I wouldn't say I knew that we were going to go to the college football playoffs, because group of five. So you already know how that goes. They only like
politics. Yeah, it was politics.
So I can't say I knew that was going to happen, but I knew it was going to be a special year just because of all the work we put in. And I mean, I was just blessed to be able to hit the ground running, because I was an older guy and I've been through it. It was not like I was a freshman coming in on campus for the first time. By this time, it was my third school, so I kind of already knew how most things work. Obviously, I learned a couple things here and there, but definitely pretty easier than being a freshman. I will say that.
People don't realize that, like, since you guys Cincinnati had to pretty much be good for 2 years to get in.
Right.
Like, people don't realize y'all had to play Georgia and almost knock off Georgia, and then go and then beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame and have the season you guys had again, just to be considered to even land that spot. Like, people don't know the group of five school does not have the same luxury. So you got to really, really dog it out.
Exactly.
But the thing I really want to talk to you about, you're a left tackle. You were Desmond Ridder's. You were watching Desmond Ridder's blind side, who will probably be the starting quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons this year. Talk to me about your relationship with him, and you as a left tackle. What is that? What does that responsibility feel like for you, having to be that guy's like the eyes in the back of his head per se?
I would say, I mean, we had a good relationship. I mean, it was easy for me to come in and buy into what he was doing. He was always a good leader on the team. He would run the meetings, on Mondays while we're scouting for the new team for the week. He would have the old line over for cookouts and stuff here and there, and when we had free time, we would always hang out and stuff too. And we even sat next to each other on the buses during traveling and stuff. So we had a good, pretty good relationship. I mean, it was fun playing with a guy like that, real competitor, and watching his blind side and playing left tackle for me, it was kind of smooth. He was a good quarterback. Made good decisions, took care of the football. I mean, was a great leader. He was he was a quarterback that a lot of old linemen would love to have. Made he took care, like I said, he took care of the football. He didn't have us have empty drives, anything like that. He was a true competitor. I mean, hats off to the guy. It was an honor playing with him. I wish I could have played with him for a little bit more, but obviously he had plans on going to major. I can't never be mad at. So, I mean, it was overall it was just a great experience, and I'm glad I got to play in front of a quarterback like that.
Well, so obviously I want to talk about this year a little bit more, but I do want to bring one more thing about college football playoffs. You played against Alabama. Obviously, the result was not what you guys had hoped for, but I think the experience goes way further than anything you could ever imagine. Playing against Alabama at that stage, I watched the tape. You held your own against the SEC. Remember, we talked about it earlier. There are people who didn't think you could play. And now you're the starting left tackle playing against the University of Alabama in the college football playoffs. Was there ever like like the pinch me is this reality moment? You know what I'm saying? Like only because, for some athletes who are like 5 stars, there's like this expectation to be here. But you just told me earlier at Delaware State, you thought that was like getting an Alabama offer because you were just happy to play football. And now it went from just being happy to be able to play football. And the thing is, you can tell your parents have raised a lovely child, because the fact that you just in your mind, the only thing you're thinking is, my parents don't got to pay for school. I don't care where I go. I just want to play. My parents don't have to pay. That in itself is a big deal. But then it becomes kind of storybook. Did there ever be like the pinch me? Did you have a pinch me, I'm dreaming moment?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's even to this day, it's still like hard to believe, because 2019 was the last season I played before COVID, and I didn't have a 2020 season at all. So my last game of 2019 was against University of Albany, and it was just to go from that level and then to go to going the 21 year, going undefeated, winning the job, playing the Indiana, and then starting against Notre Dame for the rest of the year, and to winning my first championship, and to play Alabama. It was really just one of those moments where it didn't really hit you until it was all done, because I kind of felt like I was on autopilot for a little bit, going through that process. It was just like, wow. I mean, it's we in this thing, we doing it. I mean, it really wasn't much time to appreciate it, because obviously it was a fast season. It was we we're preparing for something new, and then college, the playoff game was end of December 31st. Right. So it was like it kind of went fast, but it was long at the same time. So I didn't really get to appreciate it. So really now, I mean, now that I'm out of college and training has kind of slowed down a little bit, and now I'm just in the process of waiting and talking to teams and stuff like that. It really just it was just one of those things where it's like, wow, that it really happened.
Yeah, it
does feel storybook, because it's like, wow.
No, you could write a story about your journey, man. Like, you really could. And I think the one thing I do want to say is, like, there's this saying, bet on yourself. Like, what does that saying mean to you? Because you did that. Like, you've bet on yourself every step of the way, and you're about to bet on yourself and double down again. So, like, what would that statement mean to you?
Bet yourself. I mean, that's one of my mantras. I mean, it's a phrase that I hold dear to my heart, because nobody else is going to bet on you. You have to be the one to bet on yourself first before you can expect anybody else to bet on you. You have to be your biggest fan before you can expect anybody else to be a fan for you. I mean, I always will bet on myself, because I know the work I put in, And I know how much I need this and I love this and I want this. So of course I'm always better myself because like I said, I put the work in. It's the expectation. So it's just better yourself. I can't really express that enough because something done, and I'm just blessed to be able to have the results I do.
I love that. So give me, because obviously, I'm still very much, even though I don't go there, I very much support the UConn Huskies, and you're probably the only Cincinnati Bearcat that you and Darian are probably the only two Cincinnati Bearcats that I will support wholeheartedly. But take somebody into an inside look of the Cincinnati Bearcats campus. Is it, do you feel like it's one of the more slept on fan bases? Because I feel like pretty much over the last like 4 years, between the football team's run, the Kelsey brothers, Sauce Gardner, there's been so much attention now with Cincinnati. The Bengals have been great. So Cincinnati's been getting a lot of attention in the sports world. How would you describe the University of Cincinnati? And what would you describe like the Cincinnati fan base?
I would describe it as a real great fan base. I mean, just for example, when we went to go play Indiana and Notre Dame, back-to-back weeks, they showed out. They showed up. I mean, you go through the highlights of either game, you'll see big chunks of red in our corner, and it's like, it's a blessing to have that kind of fan base because they always travel with us. They're always there to support us, have our backs. I mean, on campus, it was really fun, honestly. I mean, the energy, the aroma, everything. It was positive. It was bright. Having that year where we were going undefeated and we had the long streak. I think we had got up to 32 games and nippered, without losing. So it's that kind of fan base. It only multiplies and grows. So I'll probably put them one of the best in the country because we only fit 40,000 in the stadium, but it gets loud. Especially that championship game would be Houston. They rushed the field. I mean, that was, that was another instance of a storybook feeling because it's like, wow, I've never been part of anything like that. Right. Rushing the field and stuff like that after we won. I mean, it was, that gave me goosebumps for at least probably a couple of days.
So I think the last thing about the 2021 year was the Notre Dame game, because you talked about being on the road against Indiana and on the road against Notre Dame. The Notre Dame game was absolute demolition by y'all. It was actually like, because most people wrote that game down as like that was the game that y'all needed to get into the college football playoffs. That's the team, that's y'all big test, and y'all absolutely dominated them. What was that? What was Luke Fickell's words going into that game? Because I thought it was going to be a dogfight. I don't feel like at any point did it feel like y'all were even really in like a close game. Like, I think the score wasn't indicative of how that game went. I think you guys dominated the game on the ground. I mean, y'all got to push wherever you wanted. You dominated your matchup. Ridder looked great. What did Luke Fickell say to y'all that had y'all ready to run through a wall that day?
The message that week was just be us. It's something that he used to always preach, just be us. I mean, we wouldn't have been in the situation we've been in if people didn't think that we were good enough. So it's who we are, who we wanted to be is how we were able to put that performance on tape. Because it was just a matter of go out there and be you. Because we had the talent. It was always a matter of putting together. I mean, that's the case for a lot of football teams. At this level, everybody's talented. It's the guys who are going to put it together, who are going to stay together, and who are going to keep battling and keep fighting. That's just who we were. One of our mottos in Cincinnati was tough and nasty. We were always going to be scrapping. We were always going to be fighting. That's just that's just who we were and who we wanted to be. So that's the identity we kind of took on for that year. Just tough and nasty.
I need you to send me some tape of that year, because I know that offense versus that defense in practice during camp, that probably was an absolute movie. For real. So 2022 comes around the next year. This is the year, obviously, this is the season that you've declared for the NFL draft, your redshirt senior year. This is the last hoorah year. What was that one like? Was there like because now you're the OG, like you're really the big dog now. Everybody knows this is your last one. And obviously you guys didn't have the same level of success. Still a very good season. You know what I'm saying? Still a good record, great winning record, good season. Not maybe the final results that you guys potentially have wanted, but how did it feel going down on your last season? And what type of leader did you have to be for this version, for this team to be successful?
Given the fact that we lost a bunch of guys, obviously guys like Dez, Jerome, Alec, big keys on offense. I kind of had to step it up a little bit, not only in the offensive line room, but, in the offensive room. Also having a new O-line coach come in, maybe not new to me, but new to, the team, obviously, in the program. So I kind of had to step it up, be more of a vocal leader. And, that's something I was okay with because, I was able to be a part of the program and help the program get to where it was. So I put in the work. So it was kind of, just time for me to take the next step as a leader and as a captain in the O-line room and, help push the team and to keep them successful. Little things I did was, I started hosting meetings for the offense and stuff like that to, each week to go over the new opponent for the week and to help, encourage guys to, get film in and but it was already part of the culture. So, wasn't really do that. But that was just, one of the roles I took on for this past year. And it was, it was a blessing because it kind of showed me, a new me, somebody who's put in leadership position and kind of excelled at it. So it's this year was just overall blessing. But as you pointed out, we didn't have the results we wanted to. We felt like we could have very easily been in the same situation we were in the 21.
Literally.
But football's a game of inches, and it's never going to go perfect how you want it. And it's just when you've been playing long enough, you kind of understand that. And sometimes when things don't go your way, you just you put in all the effort and all the work that you could, and sometimes it just don't work out. And it's just the game we love and we call football. So
yeah, you apply what you learn. You take what you learn, you apply it to your next battle. That's all you could ever do. NFL, you got to go pro day. You go pro day, all-star games. You got to get an agent. There's a bunch of things before we get to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's a lot you have to do in between. So that process for you now, where have you been training, and how has this part of your journey been? Because this is the time where you kind of decompress. You're kind of away from football now. Like, when's the last time you've really been away from football for some time, right? You've been just really training. I listened to Bryce Young on the Pivot. He said something I found really interesting. Is like, he was pretty much saying that it's kind of sometimes you got to find a different way to get up, because you don't got a team. You're not getting up to, as you said, as a quarterback, I got to make sure my team is up. You know what I'm saying? So because I got this team around me, they kind of make sure that I'm up. And I looked at it, I said, yeah, I could understand that. I probably felt like that and didn't even notice it. Is when you're training by yourself versus when you're training with your teammates, it's a lot different. It just is. And sometimes you one-on-one with a trainer, and it doesn't feel like the same because sometimes you're not necessarily competing against somebody. You're kind of competing against the man in the mirror. What has that been like for you going through this process?
It's been different, but I'll probably say it's kind of been a little bit easier, honestly. I mean, for me personally, I kind of enjoy being able to just put my head down and grind and work it out. I did all my pre-draft, pre-pro day, pre-combine kind of training down in Florida, Bomberitos down in Fort Lauderdale. And it was kind of easy for me. It was easy because I was able to just lock in by myself. I was able to bring my dog down with me, so it was just me and my
nice.
Down there for one purpose, and that was just to train hard and get the body I wanted because it's all a look test. It's all a test of how you prepare and how well you do. So for me, it was kind of easy. I mean, it had its challenges. Going 6 out of 7 days a week. Being away from family. Being in Florida, it's definitely hot, even during January. And especially if you're not used to that, I mean, that can kind of get to you. But for the most part, it's kind of easy, because for me, I had help of having that chip on my shoulder because I didn't get any bowl game invites, any combine invites, anything like that. So for me, it was just like, okay, now I got more time to just prepare, keep working, and keep chasing the results that I'm looking to get. So for me, overall, that process was it was great. I mean, I couldn't pretty much ask me anything else. I lost about 20 pounds throughout the process. I feel good, feel great. And, you know, just
You
really
look bigger though. You look
Thanks.
bigger though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hitting the weights hard. I mean, you know, leaning out, you know, building shoulders up, building the back up, chest up. So, you know, all that.
What do you think the biggest difference now? Because everybody usually and I think we see this all the time. It's like you leave college, you look one way, and this is obviously like the college way. This is the wings, the steaks, and all the heavy eating you do in college. That you go on like this 6-month journey to get ready for NFL, and people's bodies completely change. What was the biggest What was the biggest change for you in terms of like your diet? You know, what do you think you were eating to help you lose some of that fat, but gain it all back in muscle, where you look really bigger than you started, but you're probably a little bit lighter?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was, you know, Bomberitos, they did meal prep for us. So it was really, you know, that's what made it easy. You know, a lot of things that people get mixed up is they feel like you got to work out to really get the body you want to get, but that's probably like 10% of it. Dieting is probably like 90% of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What they did was they did meal prep, like I said. They did protein, vegetables, and you know, some carbs, and you know, they provided 3 meals a day. Breakfast, it was oatmeal, fruit, bars, anything like that, and then you know, they had lunch and dinner prepared for us. So that really made it easy. You know, I was able to, you know, just eat the meal prep 6 out of 7 days a week, and you know, some guys took Sunday. We had Sundays off. Some guys took Sundays as a little cheat day, or they stuck to the plan. I stuck to the plan. So I mean, you know, it was simple. It was easy. I mean, you know, I get how a lot of guys can get distracted because, you know, you don't have the team, or you don't have anybody directly telling you what to do. So I can kind of get how that can be difficult for some guys, but for me, you know, pretty much it was kind of easy because, like I said, I had that chip. So, you know, I was focused and determined, and I knew what I wanted to get out of, you know, going down there, because, you know, I didn't want to go down there for nothing and be one of those woulda, coulda, shoulda kind of guys. So
yeah, you went there for business, as you were supposed to. That's literally as you're supposed to do. You're there to handle business. You got the biggest job interviews of your life coming up. You got to do what you got to do. When it comes to giving back, because we talked about it coming off before we got live, and you talked to me about, you know, you want to be able to give back, whether that be community centers, helping people eat, anything that has to do with community in your area, even talking about like the donating with the church, things like that. Why is really community? Because that's what it sounds like. You are into providing for community, for people. What is community? Why is community so big to you? And what does it mean for you to help people so much? Like, why does that, what gives you joy in that?
You know, it gives me joy because that's just how I grew up. That's how I was raised. I mean, I grew up in the church. You know, my dad is a pastor. You know, he was a minister when I was growing up, but that's just something that I was raised to do. And that's something that, you know, personally I enjoy. You know, it puts a smile on my face when I know I could positively impact somebody else's day. So that, you know, that's why I'm really into that kind of stuff. You know, because you know, I was one of the guys who never had it, you know, quite easy growing up. You know, I didn't have a bunch of role models or anybody to look up to, you know, other than my dad and other you know, members of the church. But so I would consider myself blessed compared to, you know, other guys and what they were able to have. So, you know, me being a guy who can give back and do those kind of things is, you know, just another way I can help be one of those guys to look up to, and to know that if you know, stay disciplined and do things the right way, that, you know, it'll always positively impact you in your life. So, you know, that's just one of the reasons why I enjoy giving back, because, you know, just it means a lot to me to be able to help people and put people in better situations.
So I love that, man. I think you're going to do phenomenal when you get on the team. You're going to be great, bro. I just know it. So before I let you go, I do want to ask my final question. I'm the GM of an NFL team. What am I getting from James Tunstall?
You're getting a guy who can fit in any system, any room that you put him in. I can get along with pretty much anybody I need to get it along with, you know, especially if we all working towards the same goal, and that's winning the championship, winning football games. And that's something that I've shown that I can do. I can excel in you know, any environment that you put me in. I can battle through adversity. So, you know, you'll get somebody who's going to work hard and give you everything you got, and also be, you know, a positive person in a room full of professionals. So, you know, you should always bet on James Tunstall, because you're gonna get a lot out of him.
You need to be asking, what can James Tunstall do for you? I love that. James, good luck this week. obviously I'll be definitely tuned in to see where you fall, where you land, man. Bro, as somebody who's known you since you were 8, since you first got into this college game, bro, I'm so proud of you. You know, you're honestly inspiring, man. Like, you know, you are what we all are trying to be. You know, we all trying to just bet on ourselves and double down, and you live in it, brother. And I appreciate that. Here at Players Choice, we thank you for coming on the show. We will be one of the first to congratulate you to whatever team has the nuts to bring you in, because they're bringing in a hell of a football player. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the platform, James. It has been a great time.
Of course, my brother. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much. Always.
Love Players Choice, man. I've been watching you guys, so you know, I'm just thankful for the opportunity to hop on and talk journey, talk football, talk with you, man, and catch up with you, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course, and you know, you obviously know you are always welcome on Players Choice. This is always a platform that you can come speak on, and you know, obviously, I'm gonna be tapped in with you always. So you know, we're gonna want to do this again soon, man. You know, obviously, maybe later in the summer, maybe sometime during the season, if you get a day off, bye week, I definitely want to tap back in with you. You know, because it's been a hell of a journey, and I know you're gonna be successful, man. And best of luck. Best of luck, and tell your family as well. They did a great job. Make sure you thank your mom, man. Your mom and your dad. Make sure you thank them, because you wouldn't be at this point without them, and you wouldn't be the great guy that you are, man. So keep going, keep being great, James, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Always. Love, man. Love.